In my earlier series of 5 videos, I gave you some very essential ideas that we all must have while we attempt to learn a language. That was titled Learning a Language. Today we are going to start a new series entitled Learning English. In that earlier series we discussed the basic things about learning any language. But in the videos that we will start from today, in these videos you will find the important things that we need to know while we attempt to learn English in particular. So today we have got these 3 important points, 3 things to remember. When we attempt to learn English, 3 very essential things we all must have in mind. These are the things that make English unique. These are the things that make English different from other languages. And the first thing is that small and capital letters. We all know that in English, letters are of 2 types, small letter and capital letter. That is something unique with regard to English. You do not find this thing in other languages. If we talk about our languages, Indian languages, for example, Hindi, Assamese, Bengali, Urdu, or even other languages like Arabic, you find that there is nothing called small and capital. Letters are the same letters. But here, all the 26 letters, each of them is written in small form, again in capital form. So when to use what? This we should know. But these things are very basic. In your primary schools, you learned these things many years ago. The difficulty is that we often find that even when we grow up, we become elderly, even when we become teachers, still people make mistakes in those things. I am not going to discuss in details about how small and capital letters should be used. If you have any difficulty, you just go through any of the books of primary level, you will find where to use what. But interestingly, I will tell you that although we are very concerned about when to use small and when to use capital letter, there are 2 situations in which you are to write only small letters. If you write capital letter, even the proper nouns also, you have to write in small letter. The first one is when you are creating an email ID. At that time, even if it is your name, for example, rajesh.newdelhi@gmail.com. Rajesh is a proper noun, it is somebody's name, R should be small at that time, New Delhi, N and D should be small. When you are creating an email ID, all letters should be small only, no capital you can use. Then comes another situation in which you are having the freedom. You can write small letters, you can write capital also. Some small letters you must write in small. For example, you are teaching some small kids and you have taught them when to use small and when to use capital letters. And then you are going to take a test on them. When you take a test, you give the instruction in the question paper, rewrite the following sentences using capital letters wherever necessary. Now in the question, you have to very intentionally, very consciously write some proper nouns with small letters. Because if you don't make this mistake, how will you test your student? So these are the 2 situations in which you are either allowed or you must use small letters. Other than this, you take care of this thing. Unfortunately, we find many people who are very careless about these things. Even they write the very word English, they begin with a small e. This we should all keep in mind. This is the first point that makes English different and unique from other languages. The second point is the most important thing. What is it? This is irregularity in pronunciation. Pronunciation, we know how to pronounce a word or a letter. What kind of sound you make when you pronounce this word or letter. And English is really very strange. It has a lot of peculiarity so far as pronunciation is concerned. In our languages, you see, if you talk about Hindi or Bengali or Assamese, this symbol, akar, you call it akar. This gives the sound of a. Wherever you write it, if you write it after bo, it becomes ba. If you write it after ko, it becomes ka. If you write it after ro, it becomes ra. Wherever it is used, it gives the same sound of a. No change is there. The same is the case with consonant po, for example. Po, it is always pronounced as po. You cannot find it. If you, for example, if you write potro, po. If you write pa. Both are po. If you write harap, it is po. But this is not the case in English. In English, you don't know. It is something like in a place there is no idea about what kind of weather you may have in the morning or in the evening. Anytime weather may change. In English, you don't know what it should be when you are going to pronounce a word. It is really something very strange, very peculiar, and it is something that needs a lot of concentration. It takes some time also on your part to acquire this skill, to have this kind of knowledge. So, how it is that in English, words are, in English actually, no letter, there is nothing definite about pronunciation, that letters don't represent any particular sound in general. In our languages, every letter represents some particular sound. Which letter represents what sound, we all know. But in English, you cannot say this. How this is, you will get a list of the words in which you will see how in English there is nothing definite about which letter represents what sound. You will get it in the list that comes here. See the list. In this list, you see, here I have written 6 words. Cut and put. This cut and put, in these 2 words, the number of letters in each word is 3, same. And interestingly, in both the words, the first and the last letters are consonant. And the middle letter is a vowel. In both the words, it is the same vowel U. See the difference in pronunciation? You call this cut, and this one you pronounce it as put. But logically speaking, if you pronounce it as cut, you should pronounce this as put. And if you pronounce it as put, you should pronounce this as kut. But this is what we don't do. Coming to the next one, you see I, G, R, L. These are G, I, R, L. These 3 letters are common here. L is double, and there is the difference in the sequence of the letters in their position. But G, I, R, L is there in both the words. These 4 letters are there. First case, you see G, I, R, L. You pronounce it as girl. Girl. Here again, I comes after L. You don't pronounce it as girl. You pronounce it as grill. If this is grill, then this should be gill. You don't pronounce it like this. So then you may see these are the same words. But we all know, we use the word live. We live here. Where does he live? And again there is a word called live. This is a very popular word, live telecast. I will be coming live on Facebook. So live is a very common word. It is a correct word. So sometimes live is correct, at other times it is to be pronounced as live. These are really some confusing things. See, I have taken these 3 examples only. There are many such words. English is full of such things. So these 3 words where the vowels are pronounced in different ways, and there is no definite rule that I will be pronounced in a particular way all the time, or you will be pronounced in a particular way all the time. There is nothing definite. Now coming to consonant, you see the same picture. See these words. Interesting thing it is here there. See, this first one is chemistry, CH. You are pronouncing CH as chemistry. But here you are not pronouncing CH as ka. You are not pronouncing this as kak. If this is chemistry, this should be kak. And here again L is silent, another thing. And then you see again CH is there. If this is chemistry, this should be kak. And this should be makin. And if you say no, chalk is okay. CH should be pronounced as cha. Then this should be chemistry, chalk, and this should be machin. And again, if you say no, CH sound is fine, machine is okay, CH should be pronounced as sha, then this should be pronounced as chemistry, this should be shock, then it is okay, machine. What we find here is that the same pair of letters, CH CH is the same pair of letter in all these three words, but they are pronounced in three different ways. Now coming to the next line, you see again there are three words I have written. Here you have PH, and you pronounced it as for. PH is pronounced as for physics. Coming to film, why not PH here again? Why F here? Why not PHIL in film? Enough. Here again GH is giving the same sound. PH, F, GH, these three give the same sound of for. If PH is okay, then here also the spelling should be PHILM. Here it should be ENOU, PH. If you say no, F gives the best sound of for. Since F is there, what is the need of PH and GH? I will also say this thing, this is logical. If F is doing the service of producing for sound, then write physics with F, Y, and Y again F, Y. You can write Fi also. What is the wrong if you say Fi? So then comes enough. The same is the case. You can say ENOU, F you can write. So in these three lines, what we get is that here we got that the same pair of letters CH gives three different sounds in three different words, and here it is a reverse thing. Three different letters or pair of letters give the same sound of for. Come here, you see, these are very common words we use almost every day. These words we almost regularly use. This, then this here is. IS, we pronounce it as is. S is pronounced as the. We don't pronounce it as is. If this, S is pronounced as S, this, why not is? Why not this is? If you say no, this is, IS is, the sound is okay, then this should be this. You should either say this is, or you should say this is. We don't say this. So as I have told you earlier, English is full of such words. And in spite of that, throughout the whole world, English is accepted. It is chosen. People use it in their everyday life, in writing, in speaking, in every type of communication. Most interestingly, so far as India is concerned, we fought against the British. We compelled them to leave our country, but we could not give up their language. So in spite of these anomalies, in spite of these difficulties, in spite of all these peculiarities, we should not say English is that difficult. Had it been really difficult, people would have thrown it away. People would not have accepted or embraced it. But one thing we have to remember while learning English is that there are anomalies. Letters don't represent any definite sound. One letter is pronounced in one way, in one word. It is pronounced in a different way, in a different word, in a different situation. The same is the case with vowel, the same is the case with consonant. These are only a few examples. In my next videos, I will carry on giving you some more examples of such anomalous things. So this is one point. 3 points I told you earlier. There are 3 points, 3 very important things we must remember while we attempt to learn English. First important point is that there is something called small and capital letter in English. It is not there in other language. We have to be very careful about the use of this thing. Second thing is that unlike other languages, in English, no letter actually, there is no guarantee that a particular letter represents only one sound. So your question now may be how to know how a particular word should be pronounced. That this is cut and this is put. We all know. You have heard it. People speak in this way. You know it. For a new word, how should I know? It should be pronounced as oo or ah. Here cut, u is pronounced as ah. Here put, u is pronounced as oo. How to know this? This is a question to you, but this question will be solved. I'll address this question in my next video. Then the third most important point is that no joining of letters. That is also important. What does this mean? No joining of letters. In our languages, you see, letters are often joined. If we talk about assemblies of Bengali, you see, we write words like write Bisho. 2 letters are joined. Then Pokko. There are letters joined. Yes. In Arabic, interestingly, you see, there are 4 letters, lam, kaf, mim, alif. Here we have got 2 letters. But this kind of, this one is lakma. But this kind of things are not there in English. In English, you are not supposed to write B and D together. This is B and D. Or you are not supposed to write P and S together. No. This is P, and after the P you will write S then. So, no joining of letters. This is no doubt something convenient, something good for us. That earlier you got 2 points in which there is difficulty, there is confusion. You are really thinking about how to know the proper use. But so far as the third one is concerned, this is something convenient for us, that no worry. Since letters are not joined, that is something that makes English easier. But out of these three points, the middle one, pronunciation, is a major factor. And in my next video also I will give you a list of the words where you will find such anomalies are there. And then I will tell you the solution to this. So let us end the video with this thing, that 3 important points you have to remember while we attempt to learn English. There is something called small and capital letters in English. This is not there in other languages, first thing. Second thing is, in English, pronunciation is something really very peculiar. It is irregular. We have to know this thing. We have to keep this in mind. Thirdly, letters are not joined. That is something a good news for us. All these things you have to remember, and then let us meet in the next video. I will come with a list of some other words where such irregularities in pronunciation we will find. Thank you very much for being with me.